Today you will learn how to properly address a man in Russian, how to call them a man, maybe a grown man. How do you say all those things in Russian while being polite and respectful? Sometimes not so polite, but when you mean to do so. Let's start with the first, most basic terms in Russian and then move on to more slang expressions that we have. First is мальчик, and мальчик means a young boy, which is about what, 0 to 13 years old, maybe 14. That's about where young boy age kind of is. Also, мальчик can be used as an insult to call a grown man мальчик. That means that he is immature, right? Same as in English, to be honest. We don't really have anything new here, any breakthrough stuff here with this word мальчик as an insult. But of course, any boy you see on the street, мальчик can be, you can call them that. It's not going to be offensive, it's going to be just the right term to call them. Next two are парень and мужчина. Парень means a young man, while мужчина is a man. The reason why they're here together is because there's no clear age distinction. They can be a 25-year-old guy who is a man with a family, with a job, with responsibilities, right? And they can be a 35-year-old young man who acts like a teenager. Of course, you probably know a few examples in your own life too. Both of these can be used to address a person in person. But I would say мужчина is a respectful way to call a man, while парень is a bit informal. It's a bit, let's say if you are at a restaurant and you want to call your waiter парень, that would be a bit too disrespectful because they are serving you, right? They are a professional at their job. So calling them in an informal manner is not going to be respectful. So парень is used if you want to keep things informal between you and the other person, while мужчина can be used for both formal and informal settings. We'll talk about how to properly call a young man formally and respectfully in that kind of a setting when you have to refer to your waiter or barber or somebody on the street. We'll talk about that shortly. And if I show a screenshot of парень right here and мужчина right here, you see the stark difference even in the photos on Google. So now you know the visuals of what парень would look like and what мужчина would look like. The last word of this first category is дедушка. Dedushka means a grandpa. You can use dedushka to call somebody in person on the street. If you don't know them, you can still call them dedushka if they are a grandpa of, let's say, 70, 75 and up. I would say a good way to know whether you can call them dedushka or not if they would need some help from you. Maybe cross the street, right, to help them out. Maybe help them out with groceries. Maybe help them out with show them direction. When they would need some physical help from you, it's a good sign that you can call them dedushka because you're being a bit more kind of polite and personal with them by not calling them a man. That's more like a stranger talking to a stranger, man, right? But dedushka is a bit more caring, okay? You're using your more careful language. For example, I've had this many times. I see an old man trying to cross the street, but the cars are zipping by. So I can say, дедушка, давайте я вам помогу. Grandpa, let me help you out. I'm being formal by saying давайте. Давайте is a formal language, but I can still call them дедушка because I want to show that I care for them and I'm being careful or caring for them. That's why dedushka is used for those kinds of situations. And you can hear dedushka being used more by ladies than by guys. And I think it's a bit of that, again, caring kind of a language. So 4 more basic words. Мальчик, little boy. Парень, young man. Мужчина, a man. Dedushka, grandpa. But now let's talk about how to address a young man respectfully in public. But before we do that, guys, check out our B-Fluent class with the first link in the description if you want to learn Russian faster. Accelerate your Russian progress with our B-Fluent class. We have 50 Russian dialogues in Russian. We have 50 Russian stories in Russian. We have a whole bunch of courses that will help you get a better structure in your Russian. We have Russian TV shows. We just recently posted a whole bunch of new episodes of Russian show called Kuchnia. So check us out. We have a whole bunch of resources for your Russian, all geared to help you learn Russian much faster. Check us out with the first link in the description. One phrase that we can use to call a young man formally and respectfully is молодой человек. Молодой means young, человек means person or human. Young human, okay? But of course, this whole structure is used to say young man, and you're being respectful and polite and formal. At a bank, somebody can say, "Молодой человек, ваша очередь." "Young man, it's your turn. The queue has come to you." At a restaurant, "Молодой человек, можно вас, пожалуйста?" "Young man, can I have you for a second, please? Can I order something?" Right? So can you come over here for a second? So in both of those settings, молодой человек is used to refer to a young man. Okay? Respectfully, formally, and politely. Now, let's move on to more of slang-ish expressions that might sometimes be a bit offensive, so let's talk about them so you won't use them in an offensive manner. First is пацан. Пацан is another way to call a young boy or to call a boy. Пацан. Again, up to an age of 13, anybody can be пацан and you're not being disrespectful to them because you're calling them пацан. But there's another catch to it. If we call a young man пацан, we can do it if it's not in a disrespectful manner, I would say. Пацан can be belittling a guy without wanting that. If you clearly don't mean any harm to that person, you can call them пацан. For example, in my circle of friends, we have a chat, and I can type in "Здорово, пацаны." What's up, dudes? What's up, boys? I'm not belittling them because we are buddies, we are friends. So I can call them пацаны to say dudes or guys or boys. I guess the same as in English. You can call, "Oh, he's my boy. Boys, let's go to the party." You're not saying that they're little boys, right? You're not calling them little dudes. You are referring to them and being more actually respectful. "He's my boy." That means that he is my guy, he's my bro. I'm very close with him, right? That's the same language as пацан would use as well. So пацан is used to call somebody a dude or a guy when you're being kind of friendly with them. That's пацан. Next two are chill and чувак. Chill and чувак both mean dude, okay? I would say when you address somebody as chill or чувак, you're not being too respectful. I would say it's somewhere between neutral and disrespectful. Typically, we use these two to say dude when we don't call somebody face to face, in person. Maybe we can refer to them to talk about them to somebody else. I can say, "Этот чувак пришел и накричал на всех." This dude came and yelled at everybody. I'm not calling him chill or чувак in person. I'm talking about them with these two terms. And chill and чувак are typically used to call a young man these two. You don't really call an older guy or a man like maybe in his 50s these two. That would be a bit too foolish of us to refer to somebody as these two because these are almost always used for young men, okay? Now these next two are respectful, informal way to address somebody. Maybe you don't want to show the formality of the situation, but you still want to be respectful. That's братан and дружище. Bratан is a bit more between young guys to each other. Bratан means bro. And it's a bit more of a slangish kind of contemporary kind of language that we use currently. Maybe you don't call a 50-year-old man bratán, even if you are yourself 50 years old right now. It's a bit too youngish, a bit too childish for that. But if I'm 25 years old, I can call a guy who is 30 bratán. We are about the same age and we're both young, right? We're both not grown men yet, but we can refer to each other as bratán, okay? I'm being respectful by calling him bratán, and he may call me the same thing back. So we can show mutual respect for each other, but we're not turning this into a formal setting. This is still informal. Дружище, on the other hand, means dear friend. Дружище can be used by any age, young boy to a grandpa, it doesn't matter. Дружище is like timeless or ageless. Дружище means dear friend. And we can address anybody of our same kind of social status. If I am 30, you're 30, I can call you дружище. If I'm 30, you're 50, that may be a bit too familiar, a bit too much, a bit too disrespectful. I have to respect our age difference then. So if you're about the same age group, you can refer to each other as дружище. Maybe it's on the street. I can say, дружище, не подскажешь дорогу? Dear friend, could you help me find directions or find the path to this place? Of course, he's not my dear friend from childhood or anything like that. I'm just being respectful to this guy without making it a formal setting. Now this next word is used a whole lot and you have to understand its meaning. The word is mujik. Mujik, of course, comes from mужчина, a man, and it's a way to call a man, mujik. But what's the difference between a regular man and mujik? Mujik is more of that true man, tough guy, tough dude, okay? You're calling somebody who is a true man in heart. Maybe they're a bit more hardcore of a person, mujik. It's a way to show your respect to another man without you having to bow down to them. You know what I mean? So you are being equals with this mujik, but you're showing your respect to them to say that, oh, you're a true man. Okay? It's very hard to put it in the words in English because we don't really have that same term in English. Maybe the man is mujik. In fact, I think, yeah, that's the closest to mujik is the man. And typically, you refer to other grown adults who are serious about themselves, who take themselves seriously. You don't want to disrespect and cross the line, so you call them mujik. For example, a real life example. I've seen my dad, maybe when I was a bit younger, we would go to a shop, like a car shop, when he would need his car fixed. And I would be behind him, he'll be doing all the talking. He would address the guys, the mechanics there, mужики, можете мне помочь? Dudes or man, can you help me out? So, he's addressing them as mужики. He is respecting them with that address, but at the same time, he's showing himself as equal to them. He doesn't belittle himself to say that they're the dudes, they're the main guys, but I'm not. No, he says mужики, dudes, man, help me out here, okay? So mужики is used to address a true man, the tough guy, and all of that. Mужик. And that's all for me for today. Now you know a whole bunch of words to address a man. And also, join our Be Fluent class right now. As I've said, we have a whole bunch of useful resources. Check us out with this button right here, or continue learning Russian with this next video.